In this section, we're going to be discussing advanced Google searching, especially in regards to how it can be helpful for you doing historical research. So my first tip for advanced Google searching is searching by domain. The domain is that very end part of the URL that says where it's coming from. So for instance, a .com means it's a commercial website, .edu means it's education, .gov means it's coming from a government entity, or .org means it's coming from a nonprofit. Now, know that anyone can create a nonprofit website, so no matter what you're researching, if it's online, if you're using the library database, if you're looking for primary sources, always make sure you're evaluating that source for credibility. And there will be some information on our library guides about how to evaluate those sources if you have any questions. Now let me show you how you can actually search for that domain part. So the idea here is that you're going to put in your search terms like normal and then specify that you only want websites ending in that .edu. So let's take a moment to see what that looks like. So you can see here if I type in Olmsted Architecture, I get some helpful resources. They're coming from a few different places, which is great. But if I wanted to do an advanced search, you can just go to Google Advanced Search and it will pull up a different looking form. This form will look very similar to where you use the databases where you input specific words. So in this instance, I'm going to look for Olmsted Architecture, but instead of just looking for anything here, I'm going to say I only want .orgs or nonprofit sites. And that's just by putting .org here under site or domain. If I do my advanced search, we can see now that I'm only pulling those resources that are nonprofits. And nonprofits are good to target because they're most likely to have museum, archives, different information collected, kind of when we were talking about those tertiary sources, all in one spot. So here I actually have a website that is a nonprofit for the National Association for Olmsted Parks. So here I have an actual archive, papers. This will be a great place to get primary sources as well as leading me to other maybe books. So here I can get more secondary sources as well. News events. Here it has information about each one of the Olmsted brothers who worked there. So this is going to be a great resource for me. Now let's say I want to focus more on something in this region. So it could be helpful to go back to that Google Advanced Search. And this time I'll say Olmsted and Spokane. And then under .ed or under the domain I might do something like .edu. So here we can see that I'm actually getting materials. Here we have a magazine from WSU that could be really helpful. It looks like we're getting a lot of information from the different universities in this area. So again, this can lead to other resources that might be helpful. I might even want to include the term archive, and that's going to pull up some different resources as well. So it's really important to mess around with those different keywords or those search terms. Here I could also try something like .gov because I know there is a government aspect in those city plannings. I would say Washington State Archives is a great place to look for historical research, so let's definitely check that out. So be on the alert for words like university, archive, Washington State, Spokane, all those keywords that are going to be really helpful for you, and then combine it with that changing that domain, that .edu, .gov, also .org are probably going to be the most helpful for you when looking online. Now I can't cover all of the internet and what might be the best places for you to search, so please feel free to message me in Canvas if you have any questions. Keep in mind that following that trail of source types will be really helpful for you, so think about your sources in terms of tertiary, where you find good background information, what type of archive or library catalog might be helpful for you, those secondary sources, so a lot of those library databases off the library guide is going to be really helpful, and then those hopefully will lead you to those primary sources, give you names of people, titles of documents, certain places to look. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or message me in your Canvas. I'm listed as one of the people there, so just type in my name, Sharde, And then if you need immediate help, if you go to the library website, there's a 24/7 chat button. If you click that, it will connect you to a librarian anytime or day.